possible. It did not propagate to his progeny. The children did not inherit the sin. He didn't want to address that particular point, even though I made it very clear in my question what it was. So now what we are doing is we are trying to engage, but somehow they don't want to engage. They want to basically hackle, they want to shout, they want to, look, this is not the way. You don't learn like that. Unfortunately, that's not how you learn, have a dialogue, something productive. So what we did was, we gave them the opportunity to ask a question and for them to ask me a question. Yes. So at the end of the day, if they want to engage in a positive, productive dialogue, then they should engage calmly in a more civilized way. Not shouting, not saying, oh, you lose, you this, you that. I mean, this is what? Hackling. That's what they've been reduced to. This is J. Smith's legacy. Smith's hackling team. That's what they have become. And that is the reason we stopped engaging them. Because that's all they can do, not have a productive dialogue, but to have a hackling, shouting match, which we don't want to. And that's why I say I'm done with the DCCI, done with that team. We tried our best to engage with them, but unfortunately they don't want to go down the civilized route. They want to go down the route of hackling, demeaning, ad hominems, basically low-level polemics, not something that is productive to anyone. So anyway, alhamdulillah, we stick to our faith, which is the belief in one God. We do not worship a man that is born of a woman. Yes, a human being who was, according to their own faith, their own Bible, according to their own belief, that this is their God, their Lord and their Savior. Guess what happened to him? He was stripped naked, beaten, yes, to a pulp, where they say that he wasn't even recognized. He became so ugly that people wouldn't recognize him. And then he was finally killed. By whom? By the very humans that he is supposedly to have created. Look at the absurdity of where they have placed God in their faith. The lowest of the low. The one who was so weak that on the cross he cries out, my God, why have you abandoned me? What kind of a human makes such a proclamation? The one who has lost faith in God. Only that person would make such a proclamation, let alone a prophet and a messenger of God and the elected Messiah of God. No one would make such a proclamation, my God, why have you abandoned me? You know why he was abandoned? Ask the Christians why he was abandoned. He did everything to the letter what his God expected of him. Yes, he even went, according to them, he even went to the cross to die willingly, as far as they are concerned. Even though in the Garden of Gethsemane he begged God to take the cup away from him and to give him an alternate way to die or to redeem the people from their sins. Now this is what happened. They have lowered God to a status of being someone who has not only been beaten and killed, but also someone who has lost complete faith in God. That at the end, at the end, he basically is saying, my God, why have you abandoned me? Now, they say that this is because all the sin was put on him. If all the sin was put on him, yes, then looks like at that point the entire world was sinless. Or even if they say the ones who have accepted him, their sins were put on him, even then, all their sins, when they were put on him, he became more sinner than all of them to put together. All the believers in Christianity put together, he became a sinner. And that's the reason God turned his face away from this Messiah, from this elected child of God, because they called him the Son of God. Yes, according to them. So this chosen one, this chosen Messiah, was now someone who was now left by himself to fend for himself. And that is the reason he felt he was abandoned. Why would God, imagine this, if your father asked you to do something, yes, would he abandon you or would he reward you? He would obviously reward you for whatever good things that you have done. If he instructs you to do something, then obviously that will be good. Because unless you're a bad father, you will instruct your child to do something bad. So if your father tells you to do something, then and if you do it, if you're obedient, then normally it is a practice of a good parent to reward that child, not to abandon him. And that is exactly what happened to Jesus Christ. After he had completed everything that was expected of him, he got abandoned by his Father. What happened to the Trinity? One broke away, one was abandoned. So now you're left with two. This is the point in time, the point in history where the Trinity was broken, if there was any, to start with. So there you go. You have a God who abandons God. A God abandoned by God. Look at the absurdity of this belief. Yes, that is the reason I request the Christians who are listening to this message to read Islam, read with an objective, open mind, and come to the faith of Jesus, the faith of the belief in the oneness of God. It is like Jesus said in John chapter 17 verse 3, that you, the only true God, you, the only true God, yes, and he basically willingly submits himself to that willing God, so to that one true God. And this is the definition of what Islam is, to submit to the will of one God. And that is the belief of every prophet and messenger, including Jesus Christ. He believed in one God. David believed in one God. Abraham believed in one God. Jacob believed in one God. Yes, Ishmael believed in one God. Isaac believed in one God. All the prophets, they all propagate the same message, the true message, the core message of Islam. Yes, both the Jewish prophets and the Gentile prophets in the Bible, in the Quran, in the Torah and in the Old and the New Testament that you have today. All of them advocate the same message, to believe in one God and to submit to Him, yes, and not to disobey Him. And look, which is the odd religion out there? Which is the only one that says that God is three? He basically somehow came to earth as a human being, got killed by this very same human being that He's supposed to have created. We don't see any rationality in that sort of belief. If you believe in the one powerful God, the majestic God, the one who is responsible for everyone out there in terms of their sustenance, how can He be harmed by His own creation? It is not only something, they say, oh, because you became a human being. Yes, you became a weak human being and you got killed by this human being, the one that you are supposed to be representing. So with that, we finish this, because now we got a heckler, as I said, J. Smith's heckling team. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Where is Muhammad mentioned in the Bible?
I got better things to do.
Jesus mentioned in the Bible.
Yeah.
Where is Jesus in the Bible?
Why are we engaging her? We don't engage people like her.
Okay,